Hello to another edition of Health Solutions with Shawn and Janet Needham, where Team Needham discusses everything healthcare. I am your host, Shawn Needham, along with my producer, Lindsay, and we are streaming live in Boise, Idaho. Beautiful town of Boise, Idaho. I love this town. We streamed this, our Thursday edition of our podcast, which we are actually doing on Wednesday. We streamed it a couple weeks ago from Boise, and I just love this place. Fall more in love with it every time I'm here. So today on our show, we have Carol Knopp, Director of Crossroads Pregnancy Resource Center in Moses Lake. Carol, how are you?
I'm doing great today.
Awesome. So glad to see you. And you are in Moses Lake today. How's the weather in Moses Lake?
The weather is beautiful in Moses Lake today. Blue sky and sunny, warm.
All right, love it. Well, thank you for taking the time to meet with us today. And why don't you just start out with telling us a little bit about what is Crossroads and the history of Crossroads?
Well, Crossroads is a resource center. It's a pregnancy resource center, and we provide services and resources for pregnant women and for families with children up to about age 2. So we have been around for about 36 years. We started in 1984 as Birthright in both Moses Lake and in Ephrata. And 10 years later, Birthright was no more, so we became First Wave Moses Lake. And Ephrata became Pregnancy Support Services of Ephrata. And then in 2006, we pulled away from the First Way organization and became our own standalone resource center and became Crossroads Resource Center. And then we combined with Ephrata in 2013.
Awesome. And do you guys have any other locations outside of the Moses Lake Ephrata location?
Nope. It's just those 2 locations.
Awesome. So what is the goal and the mission of Crossroads?
Well, our mission is to demonstrate the love of Jesus Christ by providing life-affirming services, practical services, emotional and spiritual support to women and men who are facing unplanned pregnancy and abortion-related concerns.
Awesome. So how long have you been the director at Crossroads?
Yeah, about 2 years, just a little over 2 years.
Awesome. I love seeing you. So what are some of you talk about pregnancy support services. What are some of the services that Crossroads offers?
Some of our main services are pregnancy testing with education about your options. Women have choices these days, and we try to make sure they know what all their choices are. And then we do limited obstetrical ultrasound, which can confirm a pregnancy. And it also does gestational age verification. So when you have choices, it does matter where you're at in your pregnancy. So we like to verify that for our clients.
And how much do those services cost for the client?
They are entirely free for the client.
Okay, so how does Crossroads receive their funding?
You know, we have some really generous donors. We do have people that just send in money every month because they always have, but we do some fundraising banquets, one in Ephrata, one in Moses Lake, every year. And we also have a baby bottle fundraiser where we take bottles out to churches and people take them home and fill them up with all their loose change and bring them back. That had to go online this year due to the current situation. And then we usually have a golf tournament, which also got canceled this year.
So is your banquet for this fall still on?
Yes, it is, as far as we know. In fact, we postponed the Ephrata banquet. It was supposed to be in April, and right now we have both of them planned for the same weekend in October.
Okay, do you know that date yet?
It's like, I believe it's the 23rd and 24th. It's a Friday and Saturday.
Awesome. So there is no federal funding through Crossroads. It's all private donations. Is that correct? And some grants?
That is correct. It's all privately funded, and then we do get some grants. The Columbia Basin Foundation stepped up and gave us a grant to help families with children 0 to 5 through this COVID time. And Paul Lozier's given us a car seat grant, and we've been giving out car seats to people that don't qualify for any of the other car seat programs around here.
Awesome. And speaking of 0 to 5, you guys give out clothing and diapers for kids also. Is that correct?
Yeah, we do. People who are in need can come in once a month and get some free diapers, and we have clothing up to usually at least 2, sometimes size 3. But we have people who drop off things like cribs and strollers and pack and plays and you name it. We probably had it dropped off. So when those things are available and people need them, we're able to hand them back out to people.
I love that. I love that. So, do you have a story of because you guys do parenting classes also, correct?
We do offer parenting classes, usually for first-time moms, but we've done refresher courses for moms that aren't new moms, and we have a dad's program too. We also do.
Can you tell us a little bit more details about what the parenting classes entail?
Yeah, so the most of our parenting classes are video based that go from the time you're first pregnant until through the first year. And the clients will come in and we'll watch a video, they'll fill out a worksheet and homework, and they earn points. And if they do all of the classes, it's usually either 10 weeks of a 1-hour class or 5 to 6 weeks of a 2-hour class. If they do all that and attend a childbirth class and a CPR class, they usually have enough points they can buy a crib or a nice stroller set. And then we have a boutique. Donors also give us some brand new stuff for babies, and we put that in a boutique, and they can go in there and shop with their points and pick out clothes and shoes and maybe a breastfeeding pillow or blankets, all sorts of things that we have
Super
there for
cool.
that. Yeah.
That's super, super cool. So, if anybody's watching or listening out there and they would like to be part of the call and have a question for Carol, give us a call, 509 537 0411. So, do you have a story about your parenting class, a good story you'd like to share about something that was life-changing?
Well, we have a lot of women, especially these days. I notice it more now than years ago, that are anxiety. They just are so anxious about having their baby. They don't know. And we had one woman in particular called. She didn't know, she felt anxious about giving birth. She didn't know anything about the whole birthing process and what to expect later in her pregnancy. She never babysat. She didn't know anything about caring for a baby. And we started her early at like 5 months. Sometimes we start them out a little bit later, but because she was anxious, we started her on the 1 hour a week sessions. We covered pregnancy concerns. We watched videos on labor and delivery and talked through it, and then on infant care. And by the time she had her baby, she took a childbirth class. She was just had a whole different outlook on the whole thing. She was just felt so much more ready. And she brought her baby in at least a couple times after the baby was born to show us. And she was just doing an amazing job.
That's really cool. I'm sure that's really rewarding for you and your staff when you see success stories like that. Nothing better than seeing a baby as a success story. That'll put a smile on anybody's face.
Yes, it does. We love it when they bring their babies in. That is so awesome.
So tell me, you talked to me about the parenting classes that you have it for moms and dads. So the classes are a little bit different?
Yeah, so the dad's program is different. It's a separate set of videos. And, if they are going to be caring for their baby, we will show them the same childcare videos we show the moms. But dads have some different concerns. In some of the videos, they talk about the importance of play. And even one of the lessons we get the most feedback on, positive feedback, is there's some lessons in there on respect and always speaking about the child's mother with respect. And so a lot of the dads we get actually are usually divorced, and they want to have visits with their child, and they want to make sure they do it right, and they want to show they're trying. And boy, they watch that one on talking respectfully about the child's mother, regardless of the relationship with the mother, and it changes them and it changes their perspective. We even had one dad who was angry and wanted to pursue full custody of his children and take them away from their mother. And he watched that lesson and decided that he probably should do it differently and work cooperatively. And it was a real turnaround.
Wow, that's a wonderful story. I can tell you that, from raising kids myself, sometimes we learn the hard way as dads, and some videos like that would probably have helped us early on, all of us, for sure.
When I started doing that, I wish that I'd had something like that before I had my 4 children. I saw lots of things I would have done differently.
Right. That's part of getting wiser, I guess, as we get older, huh?
Yep.
So you have a story about you have an ultrasound. You call it what's the specific terminology you guys use for your ultrasound?
It's a limited obstetrical ultrasound.
Which is what does that mean?
So it's really we're only allowed to do them up to 15 weeks. So our limit's there, and we do the age verification and we measure, but we can't tell you the gender of your baby, and we don't do some of the more precise measurements that they do later on in an ultrasound. If a woman is if doctor orders one for her, they measure all sorts of things about the baby, and we don't really do that.
Okay, and you guys have a goal. You guys have some goals, some long term goals of your ministry to be more medical. Is that correct? So you would like what are some long term goals of Crossroads in that?
So
Yeah.
yes, so one of our goals would be to have a mobile unit like a stork bus. I don't know if you've heard of those, but their statistics are that 4 out of 5 women who go on a stork bus who are pregnant, they choose life for their baby, and that's a great statistic. And if we Grant County is really pretty big, and there's a lot of smaller towns further out that I don't know that they would necessarily always come into us or even have access to come into us. So a mobile unit would have an ultrasound unit on it, and we could drive it and park it for a day in different locations, and people could walk on and do the pregnancy testing, the ultrasound, and even probably would have the STI testing available on that as well. So that's one of our goals. And another goal is to have a mid-level practitioner someday, like a nurse practitioner or a physician's assistant. And that would allow us to provide even more services to women when they're pregnant.
Like what kind of services would that be?
You know, some centers do early prenatal care, and they just do it right there at the center. And then as far as the STI testing, having a practitioner that could write prescriptions and possibly expand it. Our STI testing right now, we only test for 2, and there's a lot more that could be tested for.
And so you have a story about an ultrasound mother baby story that you'd like to share?
I sure do. We had a woman come in, and she was a college student, college age student person, and she found out she was pregnant and she just didn't think there was any possible way she could have a baby. She was a little panicked and just knew she couldn't have it. And we did the test and it was positive. We did the first ultrasound, and she was really early and we didn't really see anything. But one of the things that we do is we offer to pray with them whenever we can. And if they accept, we do pray with them. Well, this gal, we asked if we could pray with her and she said yes. So our nurse and the assistant prayed with her. And when they got done, the young woman said, wow, I've just never felt anything like that before. And she just had felt such a peace come over her. And because they didn't see anything, they asked her if she would come back in 2 weeks. And she did. She came back in 2 weeks and did the ultrasound, and you could see the baby right away, and they saw the heartbeat, and she immediately announced she was keeping the baby and choosing life. And I believe she stayed in contact with the nurse, and then after she had her baby, she brought the baby in so the nurse could see the baby.
What a wonderful story that is, and I'm sure you guys have more stories like that. So that's super exciting. So what is you talked a little bit about the future of medical with Crossroads, with this stork bus and maybe getting a mid-level. Are there any more goals of Crossroads as far as more locations at all, more physical locations or different events? Any goals like that?
Well, I think that and rather than doing a physical location, we would like to just have the mobile unit. Physical locations cost a lot more money to keep going.
Yeah, that is for sure.
Yep. And so we don't have too many more goals there. We are in the process of considering rebranding and changing our name and our focus just a little bit.
Okay. And so where are you located and what are your hours?
Well, we are located on 1555 Pilgrim Street. We're in the Moses Lake Professional Pharmacy building in Moses Lake. And boy, I don't even think I have the Ephrata address memorized yet. I'd have to look that one up. And our hours in Moses Lake are 11 to 4 right now. In the fall, we hope to go back to 11 to 5, Monday through Thursday.
And is there any way that people can get a hold of you after hours?
Yes, they can text our main phone number, 765-4425. They can text that anytime and we get back to them. Our website, which is pregnancywa.com for clients, it has a chat feature on there with option line, which has helped a lot of women, and then option line will get a hold of us if they need to assist a woman.
Awesome. Producer, are we streaming that website right now? Awesome. Yeah, Carol, we are streaming that on Facebook as we speak. So as always, we do stream live on my Facebook page and the Moses Lake Professional Pharmacy YouTube page. So Carol, are there any other things you would like to add to this conversation about Crossroads, or any parting words?
Well, the only thing more I have would be if you wanted any other stories. I think
absolutely.
that
we love stories. Stories are powerful. We want more stories. Please.
So here's one. Marilyn told me. She said that a few years ago, a couple wanted a late term.
Go ahead and explain who Marilyn is.
Okay, so Marilyn is the previous director. She's an RN, and right now she is our event planner, and she's planning our fundraising events for us. So she's still there, but she is no longer the director. She stepped down so I could be the director.
And Marilyn has been serving our community in the medical community for many decades. Yeah, it's awesome. She is just wonderful. Awesome. So much respect for her.
Yes. So one day Marilyn was at work, and this couple had they were, between 26 and 28 weeks pregnant, and they wanted a late term abortion. And they lived in a state east of Montana. And there aren't very many places that do abortions that late. And this couple found a place in Seattle that would do it. And they got in their car and they were driving to Seattle. And for some reason, they stopped in Moses Lake, and they needed to go to a bank to get more money. And when they got to the bank, the bank person that talked to them, they told her their story, and she immediately told them, "You guys need to go to Crossroads. They can help you." So the couple got in their car and drove up to Crossroads, and they met with Marilyn, and Marilyn just went over their options with them and discussed with them even the option of adoption, which some people don't really think. There's a lot of myths around adoption that make it less desirable. And she talked to this couple, and the guy said, well, he could consider some of those options. And the gal said she could too. And you know what? They got in their car and drove back to their home state. And later we followed up, and she'd had the baby and had kept it.
That's awesome. So speaking of adoption, tell us about what are some of the misconceptions about adoption?
Well, some people think that they're giving their baby away and they'll never see their baby again. And adoption just really isn't that way. It's more like making a plan for your baby. You can picture adoption like a door. It can be all the way shut, or it can be all the way open. And there are a lot of open adoptions, and they can be as open as you want them to be. A lot of parents that want to adopt are willing to let the birth mother still have contact with the baby, to visit. They'll send pictures. I've heard great testimonies of gals that have done it closed and open, and it's really worked for them.
That's wonderful to hear.
You can pick out the family most of the time through the adoption agencies, so that you feel comfortable with the people that are going to raise your child.
Yeah, I think mostly it's about education. I mean, I wasn't really necessarily aware of that, and I that's why it's good to have a resource like Crossroads, so they can educate individuals about what their options are and about the details of adoption.
Yes, yep, I believe so. I believe we do educate people. They can make a better informed choice. I think I read a statistic, Shawn, that said that over 60% of women would not have had an abortion if. And so I guess when women come in and they don't think they can keep their baby, we want to find their if. What is the if that would change your mind, that would make it better? Because there's a lot of things that we can help with in terms of resources or referrals to other agencies that can help them.
That's awesome. Well, I really love what you're doing, Carol, and I love supporting Crossroads. It's a great ministry, and I love your supporting your mission. Are there any other stories that you have that you would like to share?
One of the things we do also is we have post-abortion counseling, because there are a lot of women out there that have had abortions and have regretted them later, or just felt like something was still plaguing them and they couldn't move past it, and they feel maybe shame when they drive by a pro-life walk or there's an event. So we offer some counseling there. We had a woman who I knew well in the community, and she was struggling with those very things. And she finally called us, and we went through a Bible study with her. A lot of these are meant for groups, but we tend to get people one at a time. And as we went through this Bible study, which a lot of it works on the 5 stages of grief, and you work through the whole process. And when she was done, she just felt so free, and she was able to attend and be a part of a pro-life event, and didn't feel that sense of shame anymore. So we are so glad to offer that to people.
That's awesome. Well, the only way we are truly liberated and have peace is to walk with the Prince of Peace. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. Yes.
Amen to that. So you guys have some wonderful speakers at your events usually, or always, I should say. Do you guys have a speaker lined up yet for your October fundraiser?
Yes, so we have 2 different speakers. The one in Ephrata is going to be on the Abortion Pill Rescue Network. The abortion pill is 2 pills. You take one and then take another one some period of time after that. There are a number of women who take the first pill and then regret it, and they feel immediately they did the wrong thing. And there is help out there within a certain number. I think it's within 24 hours if they get a hold of a doctor that has the abortion pill reversal, that they have been able to save their babies and have them be born just fine. So we have a doctor coming who started that in Ephrata. And the Moses Lake speaker is Joseph Backholm. And he works with the Colson Center right now. He used to be with the Family Policy in Washington group here in Washington State. He has gone out to women's marches and interviewed people, and just tries to help bring some sanity and some rational thought to some of the events going on in our country today.
Awesome. So, well, I appreciate you being on, and as always, listen to Health Solutions with Shawn and Janet Needham. We usually stream on Thursdays and also every Monday at AM 1470 KBSN 1 to 2 p.m. in Moses Lake. And stay tuned for our show Monday. We had to postpone a guest a few weeks ago. Chris Kaler from On Point Skin and Body Bar will be on. She will talk about some services they offer in local Moses Lake. And Carol from Crossroads, I really appreciate you being on. And this video will be edited and archived on the Mosaic Professional Pharmacy YouTube site and all your favorite podcast forums. So like, share, and review and comment. We really like to hear that. So thanks, Carol, for being on today.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.